So the first trade I took was right here on Nvidia. Early on, I had kind of noticed this upward channel that we were kind of starting to form right here. So if we look at the longer time frame, we can easily see that that looked very much like a bear flag. A move to the downside while it's channeling upward. And so I went ahead and marked it out and started to keep an eye on it. So if I go to the chart, you can see here, I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it. I have an NVIDIA put one contract pulled up. I didn't want to get too aggressive with it. So I see all I'm waiting for is for it to break that structure and possibly close after it. And then I would take it short. So here I'm just kind of flopping back and forth between time frames, get a better idea of what I'd be looking at, candle structure in relation to volume. So I enter the trade right there, take one contract on Nvidia short, and then just decide to kind of ride this one out. Overall, I feel like because we're under previous day low on the Qs, under this zone on Nvidia, that there's a bit of weakness in the market, as well as being under the 48 and the 13 EMA on Nvidia. So my decision on this one is just to kind of sit it out and ride through it to see it through. I need to do better about sitting in trades longer. So that was kind of the thinking on this one. And then two, ideally, this looked like a really good setup for in my eyes. Like I said, we were below that previous day low area as well, failing below it, as well as this bear flag. So I felt confident that this was going to continue further. So we can see this kind of starting to form, and at this time, I kind of question whether or not the trade's going to continue. I go forward a little bit. We noticed that there's a little bit of volume that came in, started to form a bit of a hammer candle, as well as the candle before it on the longer time frame. Started to show longer bottom wicks. And my thinking on that was that there's definitely maybe some buying, some buyers stepping in to kind of hold the market there and possibly take it further up. So I stayed in it. Like I said, I wanted to try to stay in it as long as I can just to get used to that. I need to learn how to control my emotions and staying in a trade longer, even if it starts to go against me. As long as I have like a stop loss in mind to get out of the trade, I'm fine with that. But staying in the trade longer is what I need to do to let the trade play out, see how it's going to work. 'Cause most of the time when I do get out of a trade early, it continues to run. You'll see that on the second trade I took, but overall, this one, like I said, I was kind of concerned about this one candle right here. So at this point, I'm still in the trade, just kind of like I said, sitting back and watching it. And we start to kind of push up, and this candle has pretty good size to it. So I go ahead and set a stop loss. I see it starting to kind of wick, and I'm thinking maybe sellers will step in and push it back to the downside. But in short order, we have this candle push to the upside right about there and stop me out. So at that point in time, I think that was literally like I think a $3 trade. I mean, I was in it. I was definitely up more over here, but like I said, I was trying to just stay in the trade and see how much further it would continue if it was going to continue. So on the second trade I took it on Tesla, but I didn't switch over to that screen for a little while. So what I start to notice here is we have this push to the upside. You can see me on IWM starting to draw kind of a bull flagging pattern here. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe the market's getting set up to continue to the upside, especially here at this area on IWM that we're approaching this 13 EMA along with this candle and extreme amount of volume for that. That shows me that buyers stepped in, as well as QQQ. That kind of has this downward channeling starting to show up a little as well. So QQQ. A few minutes later, I go ahead and draw the same channel on that one. So at this point, I'm switching over to a pretty much kind of a bullish sentiment. I can kind of start to see that maybe we're getting some momentum, starting to plateau a little bit on these 13 EMAs, on the EMAs overall, and that there's a chance that this may continue to the upside. So here I switch over to Tesla from the other screen, and I notice this one too has a really good looking bull flag pattern on the higher time frames. So you can see me kind of swapping back and forth 5, 3, 2 minute. And so this one, I've definitely mentioned it. I've mentioned it, or I've told myself in the past that I do probably need to kind of step out of the my comfort zone, trading IWM, SPY, and QQQ, more IWM at the moment. So I kind of need to step out of my comfort zone. If I do see a setup start to form on some other chart, some other stock, such as Tesla, maybe Meta, what have you, that if it looks good enough that I should, attempt to take a position. I won't know unless I try. Especially too, this is pretty much the same exact setup that I would have taken on IWM, SPY, or even the Qs. So why would it not work out on Tesla? You know. So at that point, if I open a position, just manage my risk like I do on anything else. You know, there's the premium is a little bit higher, or a lot higher, and if it does go against you, you're gonna lose a little bit more. But overall, if the setup is ideal, take the trade. Attempt to take the trade. So right here, with all of that said, here's Tesla. Tesla, I noticed that it is also squeezing. So I'm a little concerned with the squeeze that there may be a quick move. It could quickly go against me easily. It doesn't have to go to the upside just because it's a bull flag pattern. So I'm keeping an eye on it. I'm just kind of waiting to watching the rest of the market. We see SPY here kind of break out of its channel, bouncing off of this 13 EMA, especially with this candle right here. We see bull stepping in, got a long bottom wick to it. So then at the same time, all I'm waiting for is Tesla to break out of the channel and possibly go long. In the bottom right corner, I move another box over so I can trade Tesla. I have a Tesla call contract, 427 and a half, pulled up, ready to go. Just one contract. So at this point, I still, like I said, Tesla contracts are the premium on those are a little higher than what I'm used to. So I just want to take one contract at this time, just to kind of prove the method out. So you can see me there as soon as Tesla opens up above the bull flag channel. I go ahead and open up a contract, one contract long on Tesla. And about that point in time, I decided just to go ahead and take the profit on it. Like I said earlier, that was my take profit areas if it did break high of day or get close to it. So I didn't want to get too greedy and just try to stay in it. And for all I knew, it could go against me. So I went ahead and got out of that trade. And lo and behold, that is actually my first three-figure trade. That's my first trade, honest trade over $100. I'm pretty happy with that.